So that must
Yeah.
feel really good.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's been a long
Jeez.
time coming.
That's awesome, mate. Well, congrats on the Masters. You are now what, top 5%, something like that, of all players.
Something like that,
3%.
yeah.
It might be 3% actually. At least it was an Overwatch one. I'm not sure what it is now. I think some of the numbers have tweaked. They said all the generally it's basically the same though in terms of percentages. So yeah. Regardless, congratulations. That's awesome. Get your form pulled up here. Ash Tracer Cree Masters 5. Okay. Okay, so I mean, this is round 2, and I love round 2 because we can skip a lot of the stuff, right? Because in terms of training schedule, all that kind of foolishness, and we'll go straight to your questions. So, do you have any questions about anything? Training schedule, hero pool, mentality, understanding, whatever.
I have a couple about hero pool. Well,
Let's
so
talk about
the hero pool that I put on there is a little outdated.
I figured.
So that was before the cast nerf.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of switched over to Tracer S Soj and a little bit of Widow here and there on the good Widow maps.
Okay.
But I was curious because I'm on a team, and I'm the hit scan player for the team. Would it be like viable to just like practice all the hit scans because they have similar playstyles?
Yes.
Or is it more so still just like more worth the return of investment on just practicing like a few?
The answer to the last question is obviously yes. I mean, if your goal is ranking up and or improving at a specific hero, you need to one-trick the hero, or get as close to one-tricking as possible. That being said, I doubt that your team wants to one-trick Ashe, or one-trick Tracer, or one-trick Cass, or Widow, or whatever. That being said, it's also probably, I don't know your team situation, but I generally recommend for teams as well to follow a similar line of logic to where, yes, there are good and yes, there are bad maps for different heroes, but really you shouldn't be playing more than like a handful of compositions. So in theory, if your team is approaching things the correct way, you're probably going to be in a 3 hero pool team hero pool most of the time too, as well as ranked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that may not be happening. If that
Right. I would say it's pretty accurate. I'd say it's 3 to 4. I play Tracer most of the time. So I'm the Tracer hit scan player, which is kind of sucks being the Tracer and hit scan because sometimes our flex is to go into the hit scan characters, but it is pretty consistent where I'm pretty much just on Tracer, Sojourn, Widow is like what I play most of the time. So that makes sense.
Then that's probably fine then. If that starts to get kind of pushed out beyond that, then my first response is not necessarily, oh, well, you need to be expanding your hero pool and rank. My first response is, talk to team. You really don't want to be playing that many compositions and that many heroes. It's not the Overwatch League. That doesn't happen, and it really shouldn't be happening in most rings. But yeah, obviously, if you have to change the heroes that you're playing in rank to match what your team is playing, that's a different story, and that's totally understandable, right? Like, let's say your team is like, we really, really want to play this Ashe comp. We need you to get as good as you possibly can at Ashe. Well, depending on how important that team is to you, that should be fine for that, right? But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Nothing fancy though. Okay. Any other questions?
Not really.
Okay.
I guess. Well, I do have a question. Do you think because right now I average about. Well, I'm currently in between jobs. I've had the past week off just because I start on Monday. So I've been grinding a lot this week, but it's still about 2 hours a day. Do you think that's enough to get into like top 500 to get into like the really high ranks?
No. Honestly, no. But it's possibly enough to get you a solid step ahead from where you are right now. And then what you could do is you can evaluate like when that time comes, if you want to add, and then it could be as simple as like playing an extra 1 or 2 games a day, and then seeing how that goes, and then moving on from there. So is it enough to get to top 500? Maybe, probably not really. Definitely not OD contenders, whatever. But it's good enough to get to Masters 4, Masters 3, or I mean, even maybe Grandmaster, right? If you're really consistent with it, I think there's definitely a shot depending on how good you are, how attentive you are, how much energy you have, how focused you are, and so on. And then when you get there, or if you feel like I feel like I want to put more time in, then But even then, it's like if you were to like decide today I'm going to be playing more, I wouldn't overdo it. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, see how that goes for a while.
Yeah, just baby steps. See how it goes.
Exactly. Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's about it.
Okay. Got a code for me.
Yes.
Or
let me
codes,
see here.
depending on how long this goes, because we got some time.
So I have most of them are tracer codes.
Okay.
Where they at? I have 2 from because we had grand finals of. Do you know what CGL is?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, the season ended and
Nice.
we placed second in the
Congrats.
season. So
congrats, and also sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah, it is what it is. I played well, so I'm not too upset about it. So I have 2 codes from that game, and then I also have a ranked code.
Sure.
I think I would like to start with the Hollywood from that though. So go ahead and put it in there. Okay. Yeah, that's Hollywood, and that's playing with my team, and we're
Okay. Okay. Let's take a look. So, what are some things that you've been working out with Tracer since our last session? I guess even more recently than that.
I'd say more recently. Well, the thing that I've been working on like the most recently is using my recall more.
Sure.
Because I noticed that I'll sit for like a good like minute and a half without even like trying to engage, you know. And I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to save my recall too much.
Right.
And so I'm trying to like work on using it more, but not like forcing shit engagements.
Yes. Okay.
And also just like general like timing of engagements. I feel like my timing has gotten significantly better than it was. But it's definitely still a work in progress.
Okay, makes sense. Well, let's take a look here. So, you know how these sessions go. A lot of it's going to be talking about fundamentals and things like that. But I also want you to be, especially now this is round 2, when we repeat some of the fundamentals and give you some things to work at. I really want to open the door as well for more micro and matchup specific stuff as well as some map specific questions you might have. So, if we're going at this and you're like, we're trying timing the angle or whatever, and you're like, well, then where would I set up on this map? Or do you think that this is the best angle? Or how do I beat the Genji consistently in a 1v1 or whatever? Just holler, and we'll talk a lot about that. Because fundamentals are important, but obviously if you have specific questions, feel free to pipe up. So
yeah, absolutely.
The setup is probably fine. Obviously, the big thing for you is it's like if they do complete this rotation, then you're going to need to leave. But, okay, yeah, she's free. Nice. Reasonable. So this is too soon. Like, they're obviously in a situation where your team can't really push them. So I want you to really just kind of sit and wait and react to when they push. What at worst you would do is sit right here on this pillar. So that way, if they do push you, you can blink across and grab Mega, but you're still in a good angle.
Right.
At best, they ignore you and walk out, and you're still able to get there. I understand not wanting to be this far away. If they push, it feels like you can't get there in time. But going up to here is just ridiculously stupid.
Right, because my entire team's on the other side of
and you're committing to an engage here, essentially. Right? You can't even easily back out of this, and you also don't have your recall either. So you probably should have died for that. And then at the very least, you've also lost your off angle, which I would argue you really should just go back and try it again, but just be a little bit more disciplined than you were before. This is not a good position for you to be at all.
Yeah.
Better? Should you cross up top now? Use your peripheral awareness. Obviously, we're pausing this here, but I'm not going to give you a different viewpoint.
I would say maybe. I don't think it would be too bad. I don't think it would be too bad because if I live, I feel like if I go up there and I contest and I don't die, then it would be good because I have the Hanzo and the Ana on me.
Yes.
And then my team would be able to capitalize off that.
Yes. Are you sure? Are you sure they're gonna be able to capitalize off of that? Do you, this kind of goes back to your like awareness of what's actually happening on the battlefield apart from what's directly on your screen, because you can't really see much on your screen right now.
Right.
So what do you feel? Is that Genji engaged, Brig engaged, Diva engaged?
I feel like right now what I think happened is they're pushing on the point and the Diva is pushing. But I don't think they've hard engaged at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I think the whole, even just the term maybe, like soft pressure, keep them tied up. Let's find, yeah, I mean, it is, right? We didn't even have to turn around. We could just kind of feel it, right? So, yeah, this is fine.
I messed up my blink there.
Mechanics, though, right?
Yeah.
In terms of theory, totally fine. You force Diva to fall back. You have Ana and Hanzo on you. This Brig is at a real risk of dying. I think you very much, I mean, there it is, right? You did your job. Imagine if you're still alive right now. So, yeah, okay. A little bit of a mechanical mistake. Maybe not reading the proper tempo, I guess. Like how hard you want to go. Maybe not making that read as well as you should. Okay. You can't be here. There's just nothing to do here, if that makes any sense, right? You really probably, the best position for you to be given the early state of the cart is where?
Probably then on high ground or like kind of down by the mega contesting that space.
Somewhere on this lane or on high ground. I would prefer this lane here because if your team's already going to go to high ground, then you can kind of control this area from here and control and here. It's obviously kind of rough with a Hanzo, but it's the best thing you can do. This is disastrous. Fight starting and you're just basically pursuing.
Right.
I would have stayed on the Brig as well. Because you're playing like sniper tracer right now.
Right.
Which is not the best use of your time. You could wrap left here if you wanted to. Unfortunate. Yeah, so you can see like look at where you have been for the last 20 seconds, 25 seconds. You've almost been playing in your own backline a lot of it, instead of establishing an angle. Even if the angle is like, let's go back a little bit here. Even if the angle is wrapping here and distracting and harassing from here, that's again leveraging your mobility better than where you are now. And then from there is, and if they push forward, you can continue to wrap around from Brig. You can go to high ground from the elevator, contest the Hanzo, force him to drop. And then even just being able to pincer this rally so it's harder for them to kite it out from this, like, let's say this door here or from high ground or even going to solo contest on cart has to be better value here. Now, my question is, why is this? Because obviously I feel like this is something that you should know by now, but it's not working right now. Do you know why this was this recent?
Yeah, this was actually on Thursday.
Okay.
I think what was going on here, and I kind of struggle with this a little bit whenever I'm duoed or playing with a team or anything, of like, I kind of get caught up in like the team calls.
Yes.
And like a call will be to like back, and I get caught up in that, and I'm like, okay, we need to back.
Yeah.
But I guess it would make more sense that when my team is backing and they have their attention on my team, then I use that as a chance to set up.
Yes, exactly. And then even if you're backing, like, let's put it this way, whenever you're backing, you're still off angling. So your backing might mean that I don't go for this, I instead go for this, or instead I go for this, right? Your angle shifts backwards as your team backs up, but it's still an angle. I figured that was the issue. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is definitely the thing. Is it's a lot of the times like you're like, all right, focus this target, whereas your priority is more to allow your team to relax and focus on that target without having to worry about anti-nade, Hanzo, Genji, right? Or your job is to cut the lifeblood out from that target by distracting the supports elsewhere. I mean, there's obviously exceptions to that, but there is not an exception to that on this map, not in this situation. So yeah, okay. So that might be something to consider, that you are playing less like a tracer when you're playing in a team environment, because you're getting baited to kind of coordinate with my team and play with my team, but you're playing less like a tracer when you do that.
Right.
this is what we want to see, but this is the first that we've seen of it in almost over a minute. And there it is, right? That's good value, great value. Obviously, you're getting RKO'd back here, but like, I mean, look at this. Diva's turned around, Briggs turned around, Honest turned around. This Hanzo almost dies, even though it's literally just Diva. Yeah, that was good.
It seems like if I had gone just like, if I hadn't wasted all that time earlier, I would have been able to get that value.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could feel it. You were a complete non-factor, really. Right. You have done nothing. Situations like these, for example, are always tricky because it's like, I don't have time to set up an angle. There really isn't an angle, so it's like, whatever, you know. But whenever that opportunity is presented, your hero is equipped with mobility for a reason. Use it. This is fine. Clear out the Diva from an angle to where their snipers can't shoot you. Then you set up for backline. Now, I will say that given what you know about this map, and given that you have Pulse Bomb, how could you change your pathing here?
I feel like I could have gone height and looked for a pulse on the back line.
You might have had to be sneaky, but it's probably worth doing, shooting out this Diva, and then either this. I mean, this is really where the card is. This is it, yeah.
Right.
So what you're doing, it's still an angle. It's just an angle to where you see the problem with the angle right here.
Yeah.
What's the problem with this angle?
I mean, I just have like zero effectiveness compared to the people I'm shooting.
It's so far, right? It's really scary for you, right? So this is definitely not Tracer's best point. Nice pulse though, making the best of a bad situation. Your timing was also pretty reasonable, and then yes, nice. I was legitimately opening my mouth to say wrap around left, and you wrap around left. Brilliantly done. Kind of get lost in the sauce there. I feel like you could have actually maybe killed that Ana, because you're forcing a ton of packs in her. Still very killable. I know you're like, ah, shoot, I need to get out of here. Maybe that was it. I mean, it's Nanoblade, you know, so I would get out of here. Nice. Ooh, careful. I wouldn't ego this with 100. The funny thing is, though, you're still doing more now than you did previously, because at least it's a 1-for-1 trade, and you're going to be able to contribute to this fight, albeit late, without the Hanzo being able to contribute to this fight. I mean, look at this jackass, right? I mean, he can't do anything, whereas you can. I probably would have just gone for the Brig, honestly, from here. Yeah, like once you juke the Hanzo, just leave him in the dust and go kill somebody else. Just be aware that he's back there. Okay, let's keep watching. I don't even want to draw any conclusions even halfway, because obviously there's so much more to see here. So, do you have any questions so far?
Do you have any tips for like, I don't know how to put it, like repositioning like mid fight, like not mid fight. I'd say like when a fight starts, you know, it's like a small engage starts, and then there's like a little patch of downtime, which I feel like in that downtime, I kind of don't really know what to do with myself. And like I know, like sitting here in hindsight, I know I should be taking that time to set up for a new angle, like a new off angle, looking for different pressure. But I feel like in the moment, I kind of get lost. Like I don't really know like what to be thinking of.
So in the downtime mid fight, or in these fights, or is it before fights even?
Sometimes before fights. I feel like before fights I have a little bit more clarity on like, okay, I should set up, look for an off angle, look for a late engage on the rotate, you know, stuff like that. Or like depending on what the comp is and stuff. But I feel like it's really just like mid fight where like I'll catch myself feeling like I'm not doing anything because I'm not in a good angle. I'm not set up to like have effective pressure, and I kind of just don't really know what to do. Like I just get lost. I'm like, oh well, I'm not getting good pressure now, but if I waste time to go set up for a better angle, then I'll be doing even less pressure. But I
mean, the solution is really pretty dull. It's just practice at knowing the maps and being able to make the read of like reward versus like investment. So you might go, okay, my angle doesn't feel very good right now, but like for example, think about like that Hollywood second contest, right? Is there a rollout? Like if we go back here, let's go back. Oh wow, look at this. I'm a legend. Do you see that? on rollout, given the fact that you had to touch now, is this the best angle that you could have set up given the time?
I feel like it would have just been better if I was just on the other side of the box.
I agree. But in terms of rollout, fine. Yeah. So I think like you know, you would have wrapped all the way around behind him. You would have gone up here and gone the elevator, and then no. This is fine. This is given the amount of time that you had. This is reasonable. As you said, going to the other side of the box would have been optimal to avoid Ana and Hanzo and just to turn the brig around a little bit more. But that's a minimal time investment for a pretty good return, right? Now, the reason why I say it's a little bit boring is because you just need to get better at making these reads.
Yeah.
Right now,
that makes sense.
Let's wait till you guys pop rally. Okay. What should you do? Look at your blinks. Look what's happening in the fight. Tell me what you should do.
I think maybe chill out for a little bit till I get a couple blinks off, and then look for a rotate around like left side.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Maybe. Like you're right though. Right now, you just have to play frontline tracer.
Right.
You don't have the time or the availability or even the position to do anything else, right? Now,
see, this is kind of where I'm talking about how I get lost, and I feel like okay, I'm playing frontline tracer. I don't have any blinks, so I just kind of have to shoot, and then I get stuck in that mentality where I'm like, I'm not doing enough, and so instead of like looking for a new off angle, I just kind of continue the bad angle.
Well, now you see what's happened though is you've now accrued 2 blinks, okay, and the map geometry has become a little friendlier as well. So what could you do now? What should you do now? You know that nothing that you do in the front line right now is going to matter. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing's going to die.
I guess I would just rotate now.
Where?
Probably. I can't really rotate right side. I wouldn't really get any value, so it would have to be left side.
You'd have to use 1, 2, go around, maybe take the elevator properly, and go from there. And it would feel uncomfortable, that downtime, but if we look at what actually happens here...
Right, that it feels a lot more uncomfortable than
you're doing nothing. Like you're literally doing nothing. And if we even go back to the time itself, it's 4:07, 4:06. Even if we give you 10 seconds, right? It's more like 12. Like, oh my days.
Right.
You could have been all the way on this back line, all the way wrapping around behind. So much more pressure. And then by the time you do it, fight's lost.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is the answer, there is no answer. You already know the answer. The answer is you just need to be able to practice making these reads mid-fight and practice deciding, okay, what are some good angles I can take? Do I have blinks? Is it too late? Is there targets that are 1 HP that I can finish if I just stay with my team? And then the other answer is the prevention, right? Because the reason that you're in this garbage position is not here or here or here or here. It's here. And here, and here, and here, right? You set yourself up for failure over the course of about 23, 24 seconds, and now you're making the rest of the fight feel like, how do I answer this difficult question?
Right.
And the reality of the situation is that, yes, there are going to be situations like this that are unavoidable, but you can deal with them better with practice. You can also deal with them better by practicing not putting yourself in those positions at all.
Right. I don't have to answer the difficult question if I don't make it a difficult question.
That being said, my point is that there isn't like a life hack solution to dealing with this difficult question. You just need to practice like getting a better read of like, can I reposition quickly and still be able to put pressure in the back line?
Right. That makes sense.
And then obviously, like what I would do though is if you ever feel like these situations happen in a scrimmage, do what we're doing right now. Go back and look at them and ask yourself, where could I have gone? What could I have done? Like practice going through that mental thought process, even if it's very late, just so that you can, like, when they happen in the future, you've at least practiced thinking through them more often. Because that's why I wanted to do this, because it's like, we need to practice that skill. Okay. Any other questions?
So I guess of course it's dependent on the comp, but I'd say more so with a comp like this, where their DPS and especially more with the comp that they're running now, they're on Hanzo Bastion. Their DPS have significantly more range than I do.
Yes.
And it's not like I need to contest like a flank route because they don't have a flanker. So it'd be more valuable if I take the time to reposition and take attention off their backline because their backline has so much value.
Yes. So you're either winning the flank or you're using the flank to go to backline. That's the rule.
Right.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, no. Because this isn't bad, but this is definitely this is where you need more experience. Because if you think about this, is this the most safest, optimal way to distract and control backline?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So where should you go?
I could rotate before I even rotate down the mega side. I could save a couple blinks and rotate right side through there and then wrap around.
Yeah.
And just cause some attention there.
This is high, very, 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 very. This is high risk, high reward, because the only health pack that you have is this one's actually not too bad. This is actually pretty good. But this is the flank to use. If you're going for backline specifically, this one is
right. Because I'm just sitting here shooting people on high ground.
So scary, right? In fact, the only reason I would take this flank here, hilariously enough, would be if I was to use elevator.
Yeah. And
to use elevator as some sort of goofy staging ground to surprise them. Because this is gonna feel really bad. I'll say this as well in terms of the timing.
Right.
Just you're tanking right now. You see.
Right.
I don't want
my
you
team's
tanking.
Still setting
let's,
up.
Let's wait. 3, 2, 1. Maybe now would be a good time, right? Obviously ignoring the Bastion being dead, but the D.Va starts to kind of walk forward. The Hanzo take. This would be a good time, I think.
Right.
So it works out pretty well because you don't take any damage, but it does cost you your recall. And you're just playing RNG. Is he gonna hit a shot? Are they not gonna hit a shot? And even now, you're still not contributing anything because we look at your ult charge, right?
Right.
You're the lowest ult charge on your team besides your on and deep. That's crazy. There's 2 people on your team that have more ult charge than you.
Right. And I have one of the fastest charging ultimates.
Right. So it just meant that sometimes you're gonna have to do something boring like that, mark. For example, if they had been running Tracer and you look at your backline, you're I don't want her to use that left side flank on my backline. So I'm gonna go do the boring thing and mirror the Tracer to prevent and that's fine, right? But that you were not doing that. You were going strictly for backline, and yet you were in one of the worst angles that you could possibly for going for backline.
Right.
Surely not. Surely. Oh, disaster.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah. I will say at this point.
Go ahead.
At this point in the match, my team's mental was going downhill pretty hard.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle at this point, but I feel that's kind of that's why I chose this one, because I feel that's when you make.
Well, it's hard.
That's when your most glaring mistakes kind of come out.
Yeah, exactly. When you're not fully focused. And I think that's something else to aspire to be, is when that kind of happens, is to have the mental resilience to kind of pick it back up, because it's hard. You got full cap on Hollywood with 3 minutes.
Right.
That's pretty hurtful. Yeah. So it's a good reposition from you here. But obviously still has the same issues, where if you're marking Tracer, it's fine, but then as soon as Tracer's not marked, you have to be very careful about what you do. That being said, I don't even think that the angle that you took was necessarily bad, because you did clear the Tracer out. And then you did go around. You did go at a slightly better timing. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm not too sure. Your D.Va you still have to be careful here, but then you hear Nano Tracer and you're like, oh shoot, I'm out of here. And there you go. So that was good. Yep. Yeah. No comment. Nice. That was good though. Nicely done. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Maybe. No. Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that one was we'd called the kill the cast, but
Yeah, I figured. I mean, he looked like he was staggering, but he managed to get out. That's fine.
Right, our D didn't have boosters at the time, so we couldn't really recommend.
He had a shot on you as well. Even better. Questionable.
Yeah, that was we were calling for Nano Tracer, and I thought I was gonna be the one calling for it, and then I got nanoed, and I was like, oh, okay, let me go.
It happens. It happens. That's one of the situations where you can look back and go like, oh, I didn't have an angle. Well, it wasn't your fault, right? Like you set up on high, the fight just wasn't started. You were, I mean, it was fine. Just go next. Okay. Look at you with your timing. I see that. I see it. Easy clear of high. You didn't even need the dragon. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back. Ah. Huh. Still good value. I mean, it's good zoning. Force Brigade on attention for a while. Don't die for it. Now, brain on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lost the angle. Unfortunate. What do you do?
So I guess this is one of those times when I would, instead of just sitting, shooting, doing nothing, I should be looking to reposition.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like
Yep.
going into the saloon or like looking to pressure through the little door.
Yep. Maybe go in the saloon, pressure the door.
Maybe depending on how much time I have, make a wrap to like the jail or whatever.
Yeah, that one's a little far, but it's doable. I think maybe even elevator again. Might be worth going as well. But yeah, this is exactly what we talked about. Like, there's nobody 1 HP right now. There's nobody to finish off. Take time to reposition. There's also a little bit of downtime as well, because you can kind of look at your screen. Yeah, your Hans is going aggressively, but you have a little bit of time to reposition here. So use it. I mean, it's fine. I just don't feel like this is the best use of your time in terms of repositioning. Come up through here. Come up around. You know, full commit. If once this Diva Bomb is full commit on attacking from here. Let's see what you do. Okay, so they actually push into you, and it's all right. Like, I don't know if the recall is necessary. Let's do this again. You're going for the blink melee. Okay. Yeah, I need to be really careful about not getting stuck there. But honestly, like, from an objective resource trade, could that have been done better? Yes. But I think the theory of it, at least lining up with your concerns earlier, was better. Right? You did bait good Cassie attention, you bait Ana attention, Brig attention, you didn't feed, you didn't demand any healing or resources whatsoever. Your Ana just died to a Diva Bomb. Now here, I think obviously we need to wait, but we need to be setting up here. Yes. Yes. Wait. Yes. Wait. Yes. Unfortunate, but fine. Yes. I'm gonna coach the rest of this review in just monosyllable. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is just a little bit unfortunate. Look at your HP.
Right.
114. No. And then obviously, because you used, what was this, 2 blinks across? Look at your blink here. Oh. Yeah. You know. It happens. And sometimes, sometimes you can look, as you get better as at understanding the game, you're going to be able to look at situations like those and just be like, unfortunate, I made a mistake mechanically, go next.
Right.
It becomes a lot more easy to review because you don't have to like reteach the game or reevaluate everything that you understand about the game. You understand. So what I'd like to do, at least for the last couple of team fights here, is to do just that here. So what do you think about your angle, your position?
I think it's good considering they're all on height, so it's not like I can solo go up there or like 2 of us can go. We would have to make a hard commit up there.
Timing good of what you're doing?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Because they're engaging, you know. Pushing cart, forcing attention to the Hanzo.
That's tight right there. Your mechanics have gotten much better. Like, really, this is really quite good. Okay, well, that's easy to coach yourself when that happens. Uh-oh. So I'm down with that. Oh, the rats!
Yeah, we were like, oh, they're stuck.
Bunch
They're
of
stuck. Kill them.
snakes. It's so disappointing. I don't know. That's frustrating.
This week called to get 3 on just to get it pushed up a little bit more to like get it to the corner.
Who needs to be thinking about positioning on your team?
Well, everybody, of course, but I think
Who's the hardest to position on your team?
The hardest to position?
And it's blink of an eye, no pun intended.
Definitely me, and then probably Anna.
Yeah. And Anna is generally going to be relatively closer to Cart because it's either going to be like, you know, here or here or here, maybe further away, but it's all going to be in this general vicinity. Where do you need to be?
I guess it really depends, but probably almost exclusively off on the left side.
Here or here or here or here, right? Not here. Right. Get off the cart. This is the team play. It's baiting you. Because now you got a real problem.
Right.
You should have already been past this point.
Right. But now I'm trying to set up, and I wasted too much time, and they set up before I did.
Yeah. I don't even have a problem with like what in theory you're doing, besides the fact that you just woke up Banana Diva. But it's just not going to feel as good as it should, right? Huh. It's one of those circumstances again, isn't it?
Right. I don't set myself up correctly pre-fight, and then I have to deal with it later in the fight because
sure do. And this is a lot harder. This is a lot harder. You don't have your recall yet. You don't have your blinks yet. Like even now, it's like really you have to actually blink back to your team. Like I don't even know what you do here. Like you're cooked. You're really just cooked. There's nowhere for you to go. Now you guys are pulling the what the French call a stagger. And then obviously now you're staggered, so you're still not set up. And this is looking awfully familiar.
Yeah, this is where you can see the mental factor.
Yeah. What? That's what you get for trying to flank as Tracer. You should just shoot Diva. Break shield. Yeah, that's what they call in my friends from Belgium a GG.
We actually don't lose this fight.
No way. Oh,
yeah, I get nanoed.
So why? Oh, you guys must lose the recontest?
Yeah.
Ah, disaster. That one always feels bad. Nice.
Yeah, I was feeling so good after that fight too. I was like, oh, nice. I got a little 4K.
Yeah, you sure did. And you guys got a Pulse and a Copy coming up. They got Jack All, so. Probably not the best angle to hold. Not because it's like an angle bet. It's just very rarely do people come outside the store. And I know you're trying to like pincer it. I would rather you have probably like playing along here or like along here or even like here-ish. There's just not going to be a good flank, but at least you can do stuff from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense. My thought was I saw that they had swapped to Widow, and so I figured that the Widow was going to be coming out the right side.
Got it.
But I didn't really think about when the Widow had spawned. I think the Widow was like the last one.
Yeah, she was the last one. She still wasn't out the spawn door. So ironically, your strategy might have actually worked if you'd stuck with it. Ha! Get rolled! Yeah. Like I said, stop trying to flank and duel squishies, mate. You're just gonna die. It never works. Okay, well we got time if you want to look at another code.
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up the Nepal. I really like looking at like the team play ones because I know it's not always directly correlated to like what you experience in ranked, but I feel like it gives you the best option to just like really focus on your own play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, okay, that was Nepal.
Okay. Paul is a tricky one for Tracer. Sanctum is very black and white. A lot of Village is a lot of like point pressure more than anything else. And then Shrine I think is pretty good. Shrine is pretty straightforward, but okay, let's take a look.
At this map we had, because the map before this was New Queen Street, and we run far comp like this on New Queens, and we rolled, and so we were feeling good.
It's a good far map on all points but Sanctum. So this is gonna sound weird. Your angle's fine. I don't like who you're shooting. I actually think like Lucio, especially at this range, is probably the worst target you could be shooting. Besides maybe Ramatra. I think Mei, Ana, definitely higher risk. I mean, obviously Ana, but I think even Mei is probably better. Lucio is a rat.
They have more valuable cooldowns that I could force. Like if I force an ice block, it's the chances of me forcing an amp are. I mean, he's probably just going to get healed by the Ana.
He's also just harder to track too, right? So it's just like, just get the easier track on the mate that's literally in front of you, which ironically, or coincidentally, I guess, is also the guy who kills Lucio, right? Like that actually is your fault. But yeah, I like Mei, Ana, Hanzo, Lucio if he's close, but at this distance is just your better bet. It's just, I mean, look at that. Look how much you did to Mei just there, right? There's the ice block. Obviously, timing here is fine. Like, obviously, there's nothing to really say here. And I do like that we're kind of like trying, like, I like the fact that we're wrapping around. I mean, this is kind of a good example, right? Of like where you were like, obviously Mei wall, but even without Mei wall here, you could make an argument that it's worth wrapping around here. Maybe not necessary because their Mei is now dead, but it's also not the end of the world if you're down for a second because there you are.
Right.
I don't think it matters that
I guess
much
it's
there,
kind of like it's kind of like a Tracer specific thing because she is so highly mobile. Yeah. Because there are more opportunities on Tracer where you have a split second to blink around to a flank. So.
Right. I mean, that's a lot of like let's put it this way. What's better, 16 times 15 or 40 times 12?
Right.
Or, is it 25 times 7, or is it 100 times 6? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those, like it's like as you get better at math, you're able to answer those quickly. But like you get assigning weight to uptime, assigning weight to quality of your pressure, you're gonna get a better feel of like whether it was worth it or whether it wasn't worth it, and so on. Here. Smart move with the Mega. Kind of waiting a little bit. Now, here's the funny thing. This is the team play screaming out.
Yeah.
You see it? Why?
Yeah.
Don't.
Right. If I'd been pressuring the Ana here, then I wouldn't.
Yep.
My team wouldn't have gotten naded. Maybe I'm the only one who gets naded, or maybe I killed Ana or something. But
and the recall.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's a really expensive trade. Just food for thought. You weren't exactly in an optimal position to go for Ana, but it's like the balance though, right? Because could you have killed the Mercy? Yeah, maybe. But maybe with full Matrix, maybe she was too far away, maybe she had Guardian Angel. Like, again, these are the things you kind of have to like think about in my mind. It's like trying to find that balance between like following up on the team's target so that you secure the kill, because the kill secured is a big thing. But then, is it going to cost too much? What are the odds that I'm going to be the difference maker versus I'm cutting off life support elsewhere?
Right, and like, would my team have a higher chance of killing a target if I'm taking some pressure off of them by pressuring somebody else? So it's right. Yep. It's just I guess that just kind of comes with time.
It is. But at least you know what you're looking for.
Right.
Oh, that echo is so low. No. Alright, you go. Okay, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah, I probably
Mistake removed. Careful. You still kind of want to be late in this comp, right? Like, in a lot of ways, your Pharah and your D.Va are your tank. And especially because you're not going to get any heal support, really. This is respectfully trolling.
Right.
You need your Pharah to be a little bit like right now you'd want to go, essentially.
Right.
You got to be really careful. Like even this right here, not good. And I assume this is the team play thing. Oh no, you know, it's like
yeah, we were rapping and we were like, let's go, and
yeah. You're the fastest guy, so you're gonna be there first, but you don't necessarily want to be there first. The thing about it from your Lucio's perspective too, it's the same thing with your Lucio too. Like your Lucio really does not want to be going in first. So, but he's also the fastest guy, so you know if he dies because he gets there first, that's gonna suck.
He does so much damage.
Nice. Yeah, I mean this is over. Wait,
It's just.
It's over. What? Excuse me?
It was. Yeah. Quite the fight. And they.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. That is a bizarre comp. What are they running?
Yeah. We saw the Ashe and the Moira, we were pretty confused.
Well, the good news is that with the composition that they're running, that the Cassie and Ashe are going to be able to take 0 angles because the Moira and Lucio are not going to be able to support them. So they're all going to be clumped up in a big tight bunch, which it doesn't matter how many hit scans they run, Pharah's still going to eat lunch on that. Theoretically. So nothing changes for you. Your timing here is good. Pharah goes a little bit first, Diva goes a little bit first. The pressure's good. But obviously Mercy's rezzing and you are dying, so okay. Now the Cassie's on the angle, but obviously the weakness of that is that he's not going to be able to get any support. No packs, no orb, no on a heal, no bad heal, no nothing. Timing is probably good. Stop shooting Lucio. We talked about this earlier. You know,
Cast right in my face.
I mean, honestly, even a Diva shooting here is probably more worth the return on the investment, just basically off the HP damage that you can do.
Right.
I'll also say as well, to a lesser extent, I don't really love the rollout here either. I think this is a lot spookier for them than it is for you, or excuse me, vice versa, because you're thinking about it like, oh, we're diving people on this side, but come from here and this feels a lot better, or even wrapping from here feels a lot more cover oriented. You see how this also gives you options as well. It's okay, so you remember, you're thinking like, oh, you know, the hit, but you're blinking out in the open versus hit scan. Like the angle here is reasonable.
3 blinks just to get here.
But this is very scary, very scary, very scary.
Right.
So I would much rather prefer a more, not conservative angle, but an angle where there was more cover versus what they had. This kind of the map, when would you use a rollout like this? What kind of comp would they be running?
I guess it would probably be just mirror dive, because they probably set their back one up
mirror
there.
dive. What about like a Reaper's Symmetra or something on point? You know what I'm saying? Something like where you're going to be doing kind of like controlling poking, like whatever. Even similar to what they were running the previous round, maybe minus the Hanzo, but yeah. Okay. Oh, no. You stop leading the charge. This might work if she doesn't have Fade. But yeah, obviously she does, so you know. Now it kind of works interestingly enough, because your Pharah has barrage, so actually in this particular instance she may not want to be the tank, because she's the high risk, high reward player. So while you go for the pulse here, look at the response here. Oh, yo, what is this guy doing? Look at the stupid feeding tracer right here. Bam. And she doesn't have Fade either. So if that was strategic, I'm a fan. Was it strategic?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We had called to go for the barrage, and I saw that there was a bunch of grouped up people, and I was like, oh, juicy pulse bomb. So.
Sure. Something to consider. I think also it's generally something you want to be being very careful with, especially when you have pulse bomb, because usually with pulse bomb you are the killer, right? So it's even more attractive to be a little bit late.
Right.
Okay. Uptime versus quality, right?
Right.
I think you've made the wrong read. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is more like team communication wise. It seemed like your team is like really wanting to stuff them in this choke, right? So maybe it's all right, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just the reason why I don't like it, coincidentally, is because it's really rough for you to contribute anything up there, as you saw. So yeah, I mean, it happens. If your team calls to fight up there, I don't know what else you can do, really, honestly. So okay. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that was just all.
Yeah, I got you. Ball's in. I like the ball a lot better than the D.Va. Huh. Now, this is reaching. I think you're like, you wanted to stick her, as I assume that's what the plan was?
I don't remember exactly if I was planning the sticker, but I remember when we swapped the ball, our plan was either hard engage on the Ashe or force Moira fade and kill the Moira.
Okay, well, obviously that needs to happen with Pulse right here. Because now it's like you've had to use all your blinks, you've bypassed the cascade, now you've lost an off angle, and for what, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not even gonna work. Okay. Let's keep going. Do you have any questions so far?
So I guess it's not really, it's kind of a question. When it comes to like team play and stuff,
yes,
and like team calls specifically, would it be like more reasonable to like be selfish when it comes to team play, when it comes to like my own angles? Like if we're calling like, I don't know, like say example, like we're calling a hard engage on the Ashe, but I'm not set up in a position to hard engage on the Ashe. Would it be more beneficial overall to myself and the team if I go on somebody that like I actually can pressure?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Okay.
As long as you can go something. You see that the problem with the upstairs push, remember when you died to Cassidy? The problem with that is that it wasn't considered of what was good for you.
Right.
So you had to do something, right? You can't do nothing. You need to do something, but the something that you were doing was essentially nothing. That's the problem. So I guess when it's terms of, think selfishly in terms of who you want to be shooting and from where you want to be shooting from most of the time. However, you will need to kind of coordinate with your team about where you guys are fighting, like the timing, the general vicinity. So like when they do that top rotate, top right, you're not thinking, oh, dive the D.Va front line, you know, and that's not going to work, right? You can't even get up to there, but you can wrap around behind. That's the best interpretation of Tracer's strength. It's just not a very good one.
Right.
So what I would do is maybe talk to them, hey, I really don't like when we go to fight top right there. Like I can't do anything there. But you still need to try to contribute when they're calling that. It just doesn't have to be in the same target.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Let's keep going. Yeah, this is fine. Win the 1v1 or die. Keep going. Made him go Cass, or Sombra, excuse me. Swap off the Cass. Nice. Disaster.
I actually do have a question. Is it worth recalling when you get hacked? Like, unless I'm like sitting in the middle of my team.
I think it was probably worth recalling here just because you were taking significant damage, but as a general rule, no.
Okay.
Just it's more instance situational. Obviously, you recalling into a dynamite is one of the things of all time. So, yeah, let's keep running. Now, this might be a little bit of a learning opportunity because I think this is a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. You are really good versus this hero. Really good versus this hero. One of the worst kept secrets in Overwatch. The other reason why I want you to wrap around this way is why.
I'm not exposed to the sightlines.
And you don't have to use double blink to get into it. Right? So continue to wrap. This is your best angle. Continue to wrap. destroy translocator, murdered both of them.
Okay.
As opposed to this, where any sort of pressure thrown your way instantly forces a recall because you don't have the links for it.
Right.
Give me 1 second. I'm supposed to have a VOD review, and I don't have this person's Discord tag. This happens a lot sometimes, I've noticed, where I get somebody's form and they don't have their Discord tag. Give me 1 second. Apologize for the delay, because I'm going to let them know that we're running over. So I sent them an email. I haven't heard back from them. Give me 1 second, actually.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
So I think that they put their phone number in the form. So I guess I'm gonna try texting them. This happened before. I was like, wow. Sorry again for the delay.
That's not a problem.
Okay, we'll resume briefly. Okay, well we'll wait and see, I guess. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now, you hear Ash on the right? Kill the Ash.
Right.
Right? You're in a perfect position to kind of choose your engagement here. Just destroying the locator enough is good enough value. You've already put her in a really awkward spot. You don't have to hard focus the Sombra here. This is fine, but you don't have to. Because I think it's like one of those situations where it's like you can go for her. She is very good to go for, but Ash is better. Right? So destroy the translocator and go kill the Ash. Best of both worlds.
Right. I could have like almost 100% killed the Ash there and then removed so much pressure.
And the Ash was a lot more scary to your team given her positioning as well.
Yeah.
This is cracking me up, I'm not gonna lie. Wait for it. I don't know why that was so funny. Okay.
We waited too long on this push.
Yeah. They did a quick rotate. Oh no, you missed it. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you guys win the fight, but watch very carefully out of the corner of your eye. Do you see it? Wait for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter. One shot. But yeah, it's just too late.
Right. I don't know. He just didn't hit a shot on me, so I didn't. I was trying to steal the Mega from him.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting as well. It's fine. I mean, you guys are just down one. Could have played that one better mechanically, but I think the theory of that is reasonable enough. Uh-oh. You've bullied them too much. They've given up. Nice. Probably worth grabbing the Mega there.
Right.
And here's the funny thing. So this is where Sanctum is really tough, because you look at this here and what's the problem here?
Kind of hard to shoot people.
What do you think is the best move here? I have an opinion, but I'm not married to it necessarily. I'm not 100% certain.
I think my team's not really. The only person on my team that's under any like real kill threat right now is like my Lucio. My D.Va's in a bad spot because she's getting dragoned, obviously. But maybe I think I could either spend the blink and blink to the left side, and then wait a couple seconds and engage there. Yeah. Or just chill right where I'm at. Yeah. And just save a couple blinks, and then when they're like hard engaging, wait for my team.
Right. I'm currently thinking, especially because you're waiting anyway, that wrapping around and just chilling over here is probably your best play. Because I can't imagine pressuring from this angle is ever going to feel very safe given the position of like where their backline is. It's also going to feel very unsatisfying. Even if it's an off angle on Diva, it's just not going to feel like the best value. And then obviously, like, you know, there. So probably would have taken the time to wrap around. And then here, definitely need to take the time to wrap around. Go to their spawn. Go at least to here, right? This is another option if you want to, because like this is what we talked about. Like the is it better to do this here, or is it better to wrap all the way around behind? Is it better to go spawn kill on Hanzo? I don't know. They're all decent options, but this is not it.
Right.
It's just not the most efficient use of your time. It's not bad. It's just not the best use of your time. I really like the sound of damage boosted Tracer.
Yeah,
That is very satisfying. You played well mechanically this fight, obviously. It's too bad I'm not a results-oriented coach, because I'd say that was the play.
That's kind of one of the tricky things about Overwatch.
You just straight up gave yourself away.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Okay, I swear they would have heard whack, but I guess not. Go ahead.
Right. It's kind of one of the tricky things about Overwatch is like you can make the right decision and die for it, or you can do the wrong thing and not die for it, and it's
just like real life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, you just have to play the odds. You just have to increase the chances that whatever you're doing is going to lead to the right play, and then overwhelmingly it will. It also helps when you make the right decision and you apply the same level of mechanical capability that you showed there, but on the off angle. It becomes even a cleaner fight. Okay, so we'll wrap up right there.
Yeah,
it happens. It happens. It hasn't happened too often, so you've done well. Okay,
sure.
Tracer, main takeaways. Definitely, it felt like a nuance on fundamentals review, I guess. What were the main takeaways for you?
Just like mid-fight positioning.
Okay.
I'd say is probably the biggest one. Because most of the time, I definitely still need to work on my engages, like where I'm positioning from, but I'd say that I've improved a lot in that case.
I would agree as well. Yep.
But definitely just like the mid fights, when it feels like I'm doing nothing, take the time to set myself up so that way I do something rather than continuing to do nothing.
And then try to prevent this dilemma by positioning well pre-fight, obviously, which as a whole you did a pretty good job of, but obviously the few times that it did happen, it was definitely kind of blech. Anything else that you saw?
I mean, a couple of mechanical mistakes here and there, and then definitely the team play thing, not getting caught up in the call and thinking of ways that I can benefit my team that doesn't necessarily mean following exactly what is being called.
Yes.
So like,
exactly.
You know, like they're calling like an engage on somebody, maybe taking some pressure off. Engaging more.
100%. Very, very good way of putting it. Okay. I really think those are the two main things. I think mechanically, cooldown usage, some of the mechanic stuff that you can definitely look at a little bit more in detail as well. Maybe some of the blink conservation and how you're approaching that. But for the most part, it's fine. You've made significant improvements in really every aspect of your Tracer gameplay. I just think some of these are things that kind of put you to the next level, I guess.
Right.
Any other questions?
No, I mean, that's about it.
All right. Well,